Okay, so hi David, you're okay, slow down please. So what we're doing now is I've got David out. Actually, it's so funny. I see this woman's face, it's hilarious. She's literally so this is David, and so she's literally petrified and it actually stopped to watch David, slow down. So you can see he's anxious, and he's pulling back and forth on the lead. So with the retractable, it allows me to keep him from getting all over the place. So I'm just slowing him down a bit here, just retractable. You see, he's concerned about it, so all I have to do is just swing it out there, and when he starts pulling, I just let go of the lead line. David, you're okay. Right, so he's concerned, so what he wants is a hug. Right, so I'm just gonna give him a little bit of attention here, so just a little bit of a hug. Okay. So watch his paw position start to move on his own once he becomes a bit more centered cognitively of his environment. The back end there is splayed out backwards a little bit too unnaturally, and the front end, here we go. See the front legs trying to just quiver. Right, there's a cogency that is processing through. You're okay, David. You're okay, silly boy. Right, you're okay, David. So he has anxiety. You can hear his breathing pattern. Here he goes, there he goes, there he goes. See? Right? Discomfort. He's trying to process what's going through, so I'm just going to hold him a bit more. Hi, silly boy. You're okay, David. The lady's still there, right? Cool. There we go. And you see this behavior has calmed down. So why does that work? Why does this behavior calm down? It's really a simple explanation of it's down to the root aspect of psychology, right? So it's egocentric behavior on his end. Egocentric always obligates codependency. One form or another, maybe interdependency, but it always creates that, right? Egocentrism. What are we? Who are we? So and then we have that process. You're okay, David. So then we have that process where again, David feels a little bit. Stop, please. See the woman's still there, and he's still looking behind. Right. This is actual size. Wait, please. Stop, please. Okay. Stop, please. Right. So this is actual size of his head. I've had my head been bitten by at the top. So if you look at the point, if we just stay in the area and maintain the calmness, right? So the hand here, I can move the leash all the time. It's never underneath on the ground. It's never fallen down on the ground. It is always perfect tension. Always perfect tension, right? And of course, it's an excellent device as well, because if they come at me, I don't hit them with it, but I can block them from attacking me in the face or something like that. So it's really nice, because if you know you're not afraid to defend yourself, not use it as a weapon, then you can just block it, because there's no need to hit your dog or someone else's dog, because they're just trying to behave. So we can see that there's a yawn, right? So the yawn is a cognitive dissipation, and there's different aspects of how the dog is processing their environment. So it's emotive structures. If the dog's not familiar with it, just like us, when we kind of feel a little bit tension in our back sometimes, and we don't know why, we feel that, and that's what happens. Is that he's got to dissipate it, and it's actually mid-conscious controllable, because you sometimes will see your dog actually start to yawn and catch themselves. They're consciously thinking what they're doing, and that's what's happening with David. Hi, silly boy, you're okay. So you see he's starting to get restless, and what does he do? He comes towards me. So he comes towards me because he wants to be hugged, and see his paw position. So I'm going to just put his paw position in the thing here, and once he gets comfortable, so I'm just going to step in a bit. There he goes. See that? Codependent behavior. He could sense that my foot was turning and moving towards him, so he came back towards me. See that again? Discomfort. And the right side. You're okay, David. You're okay. Hi, silly boy. You're okay. Right? There you go. Hi, silly boy. So I wouldn't normally let him go, but I'm doing this for here. But so you see that when it comes here, it doesn't matter. Right? So see, so now we got a corner. David, slow down, please. So what I'm basically doing is just letting him know that there's somebody possibly around the corner, right? So there he is in the back there, and we have somebody else here coming behind him. So now he's getting concerned, right? There you go. Hi, David. You're okay, silly boy. So that's all. So we let him know he's all right. David, stop, please. Right? Hey, you're okay, silly boy. Stop, please. There you go. Right, so we have the guy right there. And see David's foot, and he also knows where the hole is here. So we look at a relational process. See that? He see exactly as I said, he knows that the hole is there, so he actually cognitively looks at the point where his physical process is going either towards that. So let me explain that part. So this is okay, go left please. David, go left. Go left, please. Thank you. Thank you, David. Slow down. You're okay. So that cognitive approach there, right? So we see the structure of how, we perceive vision. Okay. So not stuff that you hear about what these scientists try to say, but the reality of how dogs process. If I didn't understand it, then I wouldn't know. All right. So he sees the hole in front of him as a course of action forward. He knows that one part of his body may encounter it too close, and that hole may be too weak from its understanding of physics, right? If it's already a hole there, it means that, it might be weak if I step on it. Just like how a dog is not happy when they go across a bridge, right? When they step on it, they look at it, and physics-wise, they're able to comprehend whether or not that the dog themselves can be supported by the weight of that very thin wire. To them, it's thin wire. To us, hey, it's metal. So it's that cogency, comprehension of how dogs process things in a dilutable scale. It's a quantification. If you think of it as a can of orange juice that is put together, like frozen orange juice with 20 cans of water, you have a dilutable scale of behavior that is happening. So we see that part that he's doing that. I'm just going to control David as he tries to go behind me, and then we just control him there. David, you're okay, right? I can move around. He doesn't know that there's anything. It's not hitting him on the side. It's not disturbing him. It's totally clean at all times. You see the paw position is dysfunctional right now. And once I give him a hug, he'll reset himself. So, hi, silly boy. You're okay. Hi, silly boy. I'm gonna have to turn it around. Okay. Hi, silly boy. I'm gonna have to turn it around so you can see this part here, because I can't give him a proper hug. And once that happens, he's going to move on his own, just like with that hole that I was talking about a few seconds ago. Hi, silly boy. You're okay. You're okay, David. You're okay. Deep breath. He just held it on purpose, and he didn't let it out properly. So that was done on purpose. He doesn't trust me, so he's running to see if I'm going to give him a better hug. There he goes. Hi, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. That's an overt display of behavior. That is an overt aspect of you're not touching me. Just like when the dog puts her paw on you. Hi, silly boy. You're okay. You're okay. Here he goes. Here he goes. You're okay. You're okay. I talked him down out of it on purpose. You're okay. His breathing pattern has now become more stiff. There he goes. You're okay. Hi, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. So that created a little bit more of a... So, hi, silly boy. So what that did is that... Let me just switch this over. What that did is that creates a stronger codependency between him and I, because then we maintain the extension of that circumstantial relationship. So he just moved again, right? Hi, silly boy. So then what happens is he understands that I'm going to keep him safe in different circumstances at all times. He learns from the sum of our experiences together. Trust, which is just like a human aspect of learning, consciousness of learning. It's that simple, the process. That's why I can use a retractable. I can use it with two hands, two dogs, the same hand, and sometimes three as well if I'm not holding this cell phone. Because we practice, and if we practice so much, we start paying attention to the little details that we thought were too complicated for us to see. I heard a noise over there. Immediately I'm going to look over there, and as I'm talking, my voice travels that way. Lets David know that I've acknowledged there's a dangerous thing over there. There are things where I would start working with dogs that are extremely dangerous. David is nothing compared to Walter, who was known as Tonka. Extremely dangerous. I couldn't even touch him. I was just thinking today when David came towards me, and he brought his body right head down towards me. You know how they kind of stick their head right in between my arms and all that stuff. And when I would do that with Walter, you're okay. You're okay. So then again, see, David ignores it now because he expects me to watch it. So he goes the other direction. I'm going to keep an eye on what's out there. At the same time, please keep an eye on me as well. David, you're okay. So he purposely pulled on the lead. Instant correction. No, it's not instant correction. It's just a warning, like, hey, don't go too far away. I don't want you to get too lost. He knows the length of the lead. Right? I've already shown that. All the dogs know, like with Lincoln in the last video as well, so we're just holding him there. That's also an exasperation behavior here as well. That behavior, depending on the dog's structure, how he's standing, whether or not he goes back and forth, all those things are determinatives of what he is actually thinking about. Wait, David, seriously, stop. See that? Lead length right here. Watch. That's it. So he's only 2 feet away. He knew the lead length. Cogency structures, how the dog has an interrelational perception of us, egotistical, egocentric behavior. All that stuff is structured in that psychology that seems to escape Skinner and Pavlov and even Freud. No offense. My brothers have IQs over 160. I always have to say that. I'm supposed to be scaled around 200. So now I'm actually using it with dogs. And with dogs, I've realized, oh my gosh, there's behaviorism that is beyond context that has ever existed before. If I was wrong, I wouldn't be able to do these things. In the videos you see before me, I'm working with the dogs always at the same time. Giving them a hug, calming them down. The ones on the sun deck of the place where I'm renting, calming them down. David and Mickey about to attack each other, calming David down. 200-pound dog. 200-pound dog, he's perfectly doing this. Hi, silly boy. He's pretending. Stop, please. So I'm just using my hand. That's it. So that's it. All I'm doing. And then I give him a hug. And we're going to look at his paws here. So it's always shifting dynamically, right? There's no way that I can keep talking about one topic. So there, we're looking at the relationship. Now you can see square, right? So relative to that point, his right leg will move because he's not able to control himself. Emotional structure, he just yawned, his right leg will move. You're okay, David. You're okay. You're okay, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. You're okay. You're okay. Hi, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. You're okay, David. I got you. You're okay. Back right leg moved. You're okay. Hi, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. You're okay. Hi, silly boy. Okay, so the right leg moved there. So the reason why I knew his right leg was going to move was because that's the kind of emotional type of comprehension he has, the cogency structure. So I've taught him how to be more emotionally conscious. And if he's emotionally conscious, then he can think through his dangerous thoughts of trying to attack someone or trying to resource guard. I had him off muzzle in 16 hours, and that's after 2 hours spent trying to get him into my vehicle without him attacking me with the muzzle on him in my tiny little hybrid car. So all these things happen, right? It's a trust issue. It's extremely dangerous on the scale that I do, but it all works. So when someone hires me, I've already dealt with all those things. They go, oh, my dog is really dangerous, or my dog's too mild. All those things are part of a bigger issue or lesser issue. So even though he tries to pull there because of the music, I'm just gonna pull him back. David, he's nervous, right? So he purposely comes back to me. So we're gonna dynamically change. Watch his paw position, and he's gonna do a shift on both. And unless you guys are gonna get really bored. Hi, silly boy. Hi, silly boy. You're okay. You're okay. There you go. There you go. Double shift right there. Hi, silly boy. You're okay, David. Paw on the foot, right? That's a codependent behavior. Hi, silly boy. So he's calmer down because of the noise on the back end, right? It's road noise for him. Not used to it on a street like this. He's not used to it. Okay, we're gonna just walk back to the vehicle, please. Hi, silly boy. Thank you, David. You're okay. I'm gonna watch the danger. You're okay, David. So all I had to do was just pull him back a bit, and I release him right away. So we're gonna do this part. David, so if I don't want him to wander all over the place, David, you're okay. That's it. That's it. You're okay. And he waits for the hug. We're gonna do the paw position, but probably not. Just he wants to get back. There he goes, about to pick himself up. Okay, there you go, silly boy. So it calms him down. You see that? And then you have traffic there. There's a truck there as David goes through. You're okay, David. You're okay. So immediately I'm gonna see how he got scared. He got afraid. He became afraid. Right? You're okay, David. So now he's looking around. He's quite frantic. You're okay. You're okay, David. And he pulls his head against me purposely. So what he actually wants me to do, watch this. I'll go on the other side. David, stop. So I'm going to go on the other side. I'm just going to swap him around there. I got you. You're okay, David. So he's panicking a little bit. I'll show you his head here. So watch him. He's panicking. You're okay. You're okay, David. You're okay. You're okay, right? So he just cut me in the face a little bit with his collar. You're okay, David. You're okay. So I have to hold him with my head sometimes, right? So like I was saying before, he came up to me and he nuzzled his head in between my legs, right? To kind of get that, you know, how the dogs drop their head down. And when I did it with Walter in the beginning, Walter would go up and come after me and hit me so hard in the head that I almost fell backwards. So it's always a different behavior that each dog does, and the reason why is because they're not familiar with the emotions. Wait, please. Okay. You're okay, David. You're okay. So he's trying to pull because there's something there. So I'm just gonna pull him back. That's it. So stop, please. I'll just switch this around. So the retractable, so he goes off this way. You see how he gets wild? You're okay. Stop, please. See these words? These are associated with his ability to process at 1/10 of a second. I'm talking to him at 1/10 of a second on how he's processing. I'm not talking to him like, oh, at human speed, oh, well, I've asked you something, can you please respond? I'm talking to him in the point where you can see his body flinching and making adjustments as he goes. There's a traffic going out there now, right? So he's now a bit calmer, but not totally. There's someone else there. Who's that? Who's that? Right? That kind of stuff. Stop, please. So then what I said, when I said who's that? Who's that? What I actually did was I started that pray and play drive of behavior that we do when we play the dogs, like, oh, go get the stick, go get the stick. So that tone I threw in purposely to see where he went at it, and as he saw it and he heard the tone from my voice, that where's that, he went faster. You saw him focus. So watch the tape, you'll see exactly everything that I'm seeing, and I'm processing right away as fast as possible so I can tell you guys what's going on. See his paw behavior? Watch this. There we go. Right? Discomfort because he's not able to process what's going on. You're okay, silly boy. And don't forget, he's 200 pounds. Okay, so you go. Okay. Right? So I'm just going to slow him down a bit. Hi, silly boy, you're okay. Right? If he thinks he's in trouble because he's got panic now, there he goes, right? The safety of the vehicle. He still had the ability to pull through. David, slow down, please. Right. There we go. David. So he's a little bit panicked. Right. David. Okay, so I'm going to bring him in here. David, stop, please. Right. And he immediately comes in with not much effort. Stop, please. Okay, so this was pretty hard to do, to get used to him in the past. Wait, David, stop, please. Right, because he's such a big dog and he's very dangerous. So trying to get close to his face was really quite scary for a bit. And then you have to pretend that you're not scared. And you know, just let me put him in here for a second. Because stop, please. Wait, please. Wait, please. So I'm gonna, before I put him in the vehicle, I'm also going to let him and reset him. So I'm going to give David a hug again, a reset hug, so that when he goes back into the vehicle, he doesn't bring the anxiety of this area out there, and it allows him to feel safe. Just like that codependent behavior that you would do after you had a really horrible amusement ride or something. Okay, go, silly boy. You're okay. Okay. So now I'm going to put my hand here in that, and this is something really scary for me as well. Hi, silly boy. Move your head, please. And the reason why it's so scary is because I've done that before with him and he's bitten me. So I have to actually put my hand in sometimes purposely without looking, because he can see where I'm doing, right? Because the dog has that ability to remember. So then when I've done that, he's like, ah, and he's bitten me. When he's barked here, I put my hand in the back here. I'll put my hand up on the side when he's agitated there, and he'll think I'm going after him. So that's the kind of behavior. Walter's aspect was even extreme when he was going after me in the beginning, just shaking the truck that I had before. That truck was 10,000 pounds, and he was shaking it when he was trying to get me when I got him back from Seattle. And he's the one that picked me up as well and shook me a little bit. So we look at the behavior. So David, you're okay. So there's a guy running out there in front to the bank. So I'm going to make the acknowledgement for David, and then he looks his head back there. And I'm going to look to the direction for him to let him know that I'm looking as well. And he's looking over there. So he's watching. David, you're okay. David, thank you. Right? So like I said, that turning that speed right away, that stop, go. Right? So I asked him to, the minute I said his name, he immediately did it, that speed, because I brought him into that contextual thought now of, okay, I better think of it because I've heard the word a second time and there was no urgency. So I'm thinking about the word, right? Contextual comprehension on that conscious level. Then he goes, okay, I'm thinking about it. And I gave him time. And the minute he did it, the instant he did it, I was watching for him. I made the shift right away by complimenting him right away, because if he started to look around here, the rest of the thing, he would start getting distracted by being alert. At home, it'd be different, because then he would make the contextual, right, the connection. Then I would just relax and go, okay, go ahead. And then he gets to think about, because this is a contrived environment. The home used to be contrived. Now your dog has become acclimated or accustomed to it, habituated, whatever you want to call it, domesticated, husbandry, husbandry. That's the kind of situation that could have happened. Is that now they got used to it. So all these other different environments, they have to be taught that it's okay. And it's always a part about letting them feel safe. And I talk about the fact that we do 99% of things for them, like, well, 95%, right? We feed them, we clean up after them, we walk them, we take them for car rides, we take them to the vet, we hold them when we say goodbye the last time. We do everything for them. We do everything, and they look at us and they go, oh my gosh, this giant human being that could kill me, you're protecting me from everything, except that one time when I need you, when that angry dog is coming at me, you told me to get away from you. You said, don't be afraid. Don't be, you'll be a big wimpy dog. You make that dog into a bully. So that's the epidemic that is happening with this whole thing. You saw everything that I did here. Watch the videos before where David is trying to attack the dog he hasn't seen in a month from the fence. Calming him down, where he actually stops and waits for me to give him that calm breath. The aspect of presenting his understanding and comprehension of spatial perspective, so he knows which ways to go left or to go right, prospectively from his egotistical, right, egocentric spatial comprehension. If I'm facing this direction, left is over here. If I'm facing this direction, left is over here. So he understands that. Whereas people as human beings go, well, we should see an overt display of left. That's what's wrong. We edge the dog into understanding how to make their physiological movements, their nonverbal fluency, into a comprehensive context for them to conflate, to construct into that process of education, consciousness of learning. That's why I say biology is the only thing that created consciousness. Computers cannot do so. And the reason why computers cannot do so is because they lack the mechanical ability to compartmentalize the false positive. And what does that mean? Biology can do what mechanics can't. It can create something to compartmentalize it. In other words, it can store it. That's how biology learns. So biology can compartmentalize the false positive. Oh, sorry about that. So biology can compartmentalize it. In other words, biology can write that into its DNA hardware, not software, but hardware. So it can always compartmentalize the false positive. And if you look at some of the parts of biology back where they're talking about certain like tendrils and all that stuff, and are still kind of being manufactured for some unknown reason, like what was the use of it, but we can't figure it out. That's the same problem. Biology compartmentalizes the answer between yes and no. All the infinite maybes in between. It's got to be put somewhere. So that kind of consciousness of thinking, that kind of consciousness of thinking allows us to comprehend how we construct thoughts. So when I look at the templates of it, and I'm processing at about half of 1/10 of a second, as you see there, you can see the video on my YouTube channel of Gordon the disabled bulldog with Danny Walker's disease. I'm tracking him at 1/2 of 1/10 of a second, because that's in an hour and 10 minutes. Watch that video. No treats or medication, because we're addressing psychology at that fast innate speed of nonverbal fluency. You ever meet somebody that you just jive with and you just can dance forever? Or you can sit till the morning sun comes up and you're like, oh my gosh, I love her, right? Or him, right? You're like, oh my gosh, wow. That's what it is. That's that part. Your dog will give their life to defend ours. I appreciate that from being on the end where they're trying to kill me, and afterwards they expect me to protect them. I've had Walter where he is on the leash, and this is a dog who has attacked 16 people viciously in New York, dragged a shelter worker into his kennel to kill her. I saw the video of the blood and all that in the photos, and they said, do you still want him? Well, understand if you say, yeah, send him to me. I don't care. And that's truly what I said. Send him to me. I don't care. If I make my commitment, I will take the dog that is predatorial. They have to be at least 150 pounds. I prefer at least 12 attacks on people. All the resource guarding, all that stuff is normal. Right? What do you expect? The dog's going to attack humans. The dog's going to be pretty vicious with everything else, right? So all these things become expected. And there's no breed-specific behavior because the psychology is just like human beings. We all drive the same looking car shape, right? So the behavior of what happens with the dogs has got to be structured on how they learn. how we evolved, right? Being able to compartmentalize the false positive means we get to learn. So instead of knowing that there was a yes and a no, there's now a yes, no, and a maybe. Then it's a yes, no, maybe, maybe, blah, 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 ad infinitum. So what ends up happening is he learns and he creates structure. And he learns from this sliver of experience today to the next time we see cards. That's the second sliver of experience, and the third and the fourth. So then we create what I call aggregation of all the experiences. We learn from we're the sum of our life experiences. Apparently, you scientists are not getting this. We are the sum of our life experiences, consciousness, the ghosts in the machine, the moving parts. The reason why our computer hangs forever sometimes is because it got a false positive and it had nowhere to go, right? Because then you turn it off, turn it back on, it runs no problem again. The false positive happened. Your ghost in the machine and your computer was trying to come alive. Sounds spooky and it sounds stupid, but look what biology did. Biology took all those false positives and made consciousness. And I already know how that structure happened. And you look at the part that's not even in academia is the point of, well, why do we study evolution and structures and civilization and advancement and technology and intelligence, but we don't actually study the structure of consciousness at those evolutional scales of milestones, right? That part of, well, we're like this at 100%. Maybe in the 1700s we were at 85%. Maybe in the 1200s or, before Christ, we were in the, 65%. Then we have scale of where we are in perception of how our evolutional aspect went. That's why I say we were able to create false positive construction of consciousness. Then we have the ability to then construct evolutional scale by putting it through a couple of supercomputers. Then we can process that information in context in such a quantified inflation rate that we're able to go, wow, now we have possibilities how consciousness became about at these milestones in human evolutional era. Has anyone ever thought of that? Do people think I'm crazy? It's just because I got tired of just pretending that I was stupid, actually. I was doing calculus in grade 7 stuff. Anyways, so when it comes to comprehending behavior, I'm watching the behaviors quantified extremely quickly. But then again, you're doing that too with your own dog. You're doing that with your friends. Anytime you have a discussion with them, and you're just like, okay, I wish you would finish. What do? You finish their sentences. You hurry them up because you know what they're going to say, because the predator inside of you, and don't ever deny you have that predator inside you finds it. And I'm going to tell you that thing what I said in my other live today is that something that I'm working on, if it comes to fruition, is going to be extremely influential for what I do on something that I have been working at, instead of trying to rely on all these scammers and people who've been trying to rip me off for literally years. And my IP is worth like eight figures. I mean, anyways, you've seen the screenshots of people who've said that stuff, so it's not BS. But anyways, if this works out, it's going to be awesome. But it's really all about helping people. It is always structured about this kind of thing that I'm showing you. You watch the videos. I'm doing predictive behavior as well. I'm saying he's going to move his left and right leg and blah, blah. And what does he do? He shakes it and he does that as well. All that happens. And same when I said before that, he's going to move his right foot. And then when we're out there on the walks, I'm saying, okay, this dog is going to turn left. This dog is turn right. Are they going to look back at us when I do this? Because the simplicity of behavior is just like how we can predict someone's sentences and we can finish them for them to hurry them up, because our predator comes out and our impoliteness comes out of us. Because it's our predator, we're trying to go, oh my gosh, we're consciously controlled. Use that predator to watch what your dog does, because you know exactly when your dog needs to go to the bathroom or is restless or it's starting to get hungry. It's not you going, I feel guilty. It's your intuition. So embrace that. You can do what I can do. Not one single treat, no medication. All the dogs, David had to come off of 80 milligrams of Prozac, 750 milligrams of trazodone that he was on for 2 years. He's 3 feet 2 inches tall. At the shoulders, 200 pounds. And he's significant. He's knocked me in the face a few times and coming at me as well. So these things all happen, right? But it all has to be forgiveness. But you can see that. He comes off of all the medication. No dog is ever on that. Minky, the Jindo, worst dog out of over 20,000 dogs, on my YouTube channel. You can see literally what I'm doing 3 years ago when I wasn't as finessed as now, because I've been able to conflate all my understanding. You don't need treats. Let your dog feel safe. That's all they're asking for you to do, is feel safe. Don't listen to the academics anymore. If they say anything to you, tell them, go watch this video. How is this guy able to predict dog behavior? Like Loki is another one. Loki, the Shiba Inu on my YouTube channel. I'm predicting when Loki's going to turn his head forward and backwards and why. Literally. And Lisa from Forever Freed, one of the largest rescue orgs in Canada, was there with her several of her staff watching. That's like 4 years ago. No, 3 years ago. You can see the behavior, because they're talking about behaviorism. They're talking about, oh, give your dog a treat and all that stuff. You're literally eliciting predator instinct out of your dog, because a canine species fights to the death over food. So why would you give your angry dog food? Why would you give your child having a temper tantrum a new toy? All these things have to make sense. But if you let them feel safe, you can always give them that hug for free, forever. You can give them the hug when they don't even need it, because they're like, oh, that was really nice. These are the things that we do for them. And when we do that, your dog feels safe, and they no longer need to feel unprotected, because they come to us immediately, like David finally did after all this happened. That was raw. So it's like, okay, he's never been here when there's been people around, or he's never been out of the car in that nighttime, etc. So it's all these new contextual experiences for him, and I helped guide him through by letting him know every time he was becoming nervous, I brought him into me, let him feel safe. Again, with a dangerous dog, a dysfunctional dog, be very, very careful. I've had them try to bite me in the face and nip me in the face. I've said before, I've been hit in the top of the head where it was narrow, grabbed me on both sides of the head and caused my temples to bleed a little bit. And then I got lay in the bed sleeping with him, because I was somebody I was leaving. She had gone to work and all that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the bedroom, that kind of stuff. And I have to just stay there and wait, and then calm myself down. And my heart is beating like crazy. But it's all these things that anyways, I was thinking of Nero, because it's been like 2 years now that he passed away. This is one thing I'm going to tell you guys. I never got the guts to do this, and I recorded it with Nero before he died, a year before he died. And this is what you do, and I was going to do this in my first earlier talk today. Spend time with your dog saying goodbye right now. In your whole heart, lay with your dog, look them in the eyes, and say goodbye. And tell them how much you love them and you miss them. And do that every once in a while, so that when the day does come to say goodbye, you'll be able to control your emotions, and your dog will be so used to you being upset that they won't panic internally as well. The psychology of saying goodbye, the soul of a dog. Trust me, you will never feel a better, beautiful feeling. And if you want, cut this, clip this, post it anywhere you want. Let people know. Today is the time, not the bucket list. Not the bucket list. The strongest, neediest thing that your dog needs is when you say goodbye to them. Because you're going to cry and it's going to upset them. So you just practice it now. It's going to kill you. But you're going to thank me for it. All right. Take it easy. Enjoy yourselves. And, please help share my work. I'm done getting angry at everybody now. It's just like, it's just so frustrating when I just come across another dog being killed after another one for some dumb PhD who doesn't know what she's or he's doing. Yeah. All right. Strength, love, and everything is what they need. Absolutely. All right. Bye-bye.